Hi, my name is Eric Mulvin. I am co-founder of Pac Biz, and I'm here today to explain the Pac Biz Growth Blueprint. And what this is a kind of guideline of what the first 60 to 90 days look like when working with Pac Biz. So it doesn't matter if you've been outsourcing with your organization for a number of years and you know exactly what you're looking for and what you need to do to work with us. Or maybe you're outsourcing for the very first time. Maybe you're a startup and you're just getting to the point where I got too many orders coming in, I can't keep up, and maybe this is your first taste into outsourcing and to scaling yourself. Doesn't matter. This blueprint will help walk you through the first 60 to 90 days of working with us and makes it really clear what steps we need to take to make this successful. So we broke this down into 3 phases. We have the build phase, the launch phase, and the performance phase. And every step along the way, we're trying to transform your business and help your business become more profitable by taking these important steps. So let's start with the build phase. Build phase is just the very beginning basics. Step number 1, power sharing. So you go from being the only person that manages, and even if you're at a large organization, you're still maybe the person that has to answer to everything, no matter what happens in the office. So you go from limited to being able to scale. Now you have you start providing logins, start sharing knowledge with us. Maybe you don't have anything put together for training, so you start gathering all that together, and now you have materials, and now you're in a better position to scale and start sharing that workload with other people. Next up is logging in, and so that's providing access to all the different tools that we need. Whether if it might be a CRM tool, it might be like a social media platform so that we can communicate, reply back to your clients, reply to emails, reply to chats. Maybe it's a Slack channel so that we can communicate with your team, and we have all the updates on, maybe something being shipped out is delayed and we need to know about that. But all the tools that we need access to, that's the second step. So we go from having you be an individual and doing everything on your own to now you have a team, and there's managers and support staff at PacBiz that you'd be able to work with to help share that workload. Our goal is to make it where you don't have to manage these agents. There's some overseeing of things that we have put in place, but it shouldn't be on a day-to-day basis that you're having to monitor the work of our agents. The third step in the build phase is making reservations, where you go from improvising to planning. And so that's where we're setting up the onboarding call with your account manager. So you will be able to meet the people that you're working with. We could arrange a call so that you, if needed, our training team, we could get you on the phone with our training manager to start planning out any training that needs to happen if it's something that we still need to be trained on. So we start scheduling all those. And so we go from kind of winging it and improvising to actually, a planned out process so everyone knows what needs to happen next. You guys know what's happening with our team, and we're introducing everyone. And so that takes us out of the build phase and into the launch phase. So once you start meeting the account manager, once you start meeting, if needed, training director and any of the other team at PacBiz, now you could start really meeting everybody. In addition to, maybe you're talking to myself or you're talking to someone else on our business development team, like Kelsey or RJ, LV. That we're just the people to help get you started, but really the ones that you work with are the account managers who help you out on a day-to-day basis. And so we hope it turns from the stranger that you're talking to for the first time to someone that you could trust and to be your partner to help grow the business with you there. After meeting everybody, we want to set up those lines of communication. And so whether it is access to an email account, our Basecamp group, we have Basecamp that we can invite you in on. Like I mentioned earlier, a Slack channel, Skype, whatever it is that we need to be able to communicate. We want to make sure all that's set up after that onboarding call, because the next step is we're going to launch and we're going to start taking calls. So it's really important from step 5, we have those open lines of communication. So especially when we get started, maybe you got a customer that called in and they want to do a return. and we've never had to deal with a certain kind of return before. They used a card, and the normal process doesn't work. How do we handle that with the customer as soon as possible? If we don't have those open lines of communication, that's tougher to deal with and to solve. And so when we get to step 6 here and starting the calls, then I would imagine, you're reaching out because you have customers that aren't being serviced right. Maybe you don't have enough support staff. They're on hold too long. They're waiting too long for a reply to an email, whatever the situation is. So we take you from having neglected shifts, neglected customers, to providing consistent 24/7 support. And if that's what you're looking for, or if it's daytime, nighttime coverage, weekend, whatever it is you're looking to fill, we're there to help put that in place. So after the launch phase, then right away that same day, we start the QA support. And we take your people on the phone from unattended, and this seems to be the case in some of the industries, maybe not so much in e-commerce, but there's a lot of clients where they don't listen to their own agents' calls. They have their own call center, and no one's listening to them. So they're not being monitored, and you're just dealing with the fires that come up as they come up. We don't like that. We have our QA team, and they start listening to the calls right away, and they go, weekly basis. There's ongoing monitoring. And then the next step after that, after we start listening to their calls, coaching the agents, then it's time for call calibrations. And so we take you from disconnection. Maybe you listened to a call, you heard a call, and you didn't like the way it went. Let us know those things. And then actually we have a formal process where on a regular basis, you will set up a time with us to listen to a call on your end. We'll listen to a call. We meet up and compare and make sure that we both are in agreement on how that call went. That's how we learn and get better and make sure that you have, our agents are doing exactly what you want them to do. So, and then from there, we take it to the last step. So that's the 30 to 60 day check-in and possibly add services. So that's where we take you from growth already. You could add agents maybe 2 weeks in. You're like, this is great. I need more people. You don't have to wait until then to make those changes. But we do set a formal 30 or 60 day mark where we will go and say, okay, here's the different things that we could offer. Maybe we just start out with taking calls, and now you want to add in email support and chat support, or maybe you need something else. Maybe you need someone that's higher level that we could offer. So that's where we can start having those conversations. You'd be meeting up with your account manager. And if needed, you can grab myself or anyone from our business development team to join you on that call as well. But we want to make sure that we're meeting or exceeding your expectations, because if we can't meet or exceed your expectations, how can we possibly look to keep growing with you? So we want to make sure right away we're not going 2-3 months where you're so busy and you're not checking in with anything, and 3 months from now you're like, this isn't what I thought it would be. Right away, we want to make sure we're having those conversations, talking to you about, if you're looking for anything, us to improve anywhere, what areas are you looking for? Maybe you want faster call times. Maybe you want a better SLA. That's an opportunity where we can have those conversations, work on making those changes, and so you can see those improvements, and we could look to grow in the future. So that's it. That's our growth blueprint. And so it'll give you an idea of the steps that you'd go through working with Pac Biz. And we hope it brings some clarity to something that might be a little scary for you if you've never outsourced. And if you have outsourced, then maybe this will be a breath of fresh air that you're dealing with a company that knows what we're doing, and we're ready to work with you here. So if you have any questions about this, talk to your enrollment rep that you're working with. And we look forward to answering more of your questions and seeing if there's something we could do to get started. So thanks for your time.